It's one of those places that needs to be looked after and safeguarded, and if I played a little part, so good, but a lot of people are doing it now.
This land set out how community could celebrate and make decisions about their landscape. So 2 special sites on Portland became the focus for a whole series of discussions, research and workshops and artworks that celebrated and explored those sites. At the beginning of the project we engaged a research facilitator, Jeannie Sinclair.
My interest in this land comes from my interest in the way that community makes place and place makes community.
Research has been quite a fundamental part of it. We know that the model of the community being involved in research was a good one. We tested that, so we built on that.
What we're doing is trying to research both of those places a bit more, to find out a bit more about them, to enable us to talk about what should happen to them in the future and what the community thinks should happen to them, and what can be done to preserve those places and look after those places.
We knew we had the festival as the final outcome of where people would experience the final artworks, but along the way there were lots of different events, lots of different activities, workshops with artists, there were walks and talks, lots of different things, particularly community conversations.
It did feel like there was a sense of shared ownership of the issues and problems.
I mean, for me, working with artists over the years has not just meant that whatever it is I'm trying to communicate has landed better or in a different way. It's actually made me think about what my subject means in a different way and how it can be looked at from a different perspective and understood in a different way.
I didn't realise how many organisations there were that all had a stake and had power over this area that we're in. The best way of managing it is by working together.
Today is very much about having fun in the sun. It's the second part of how to look after an island. It's all about bringing people of all ages together, do lots of things, look at lots of things, try lots of things, but the whole message is about that we can all do something.
It's kind of crazy that maybe 50 years ago there were so many more animals in the world, especially in sort of the Amazon rainforest, that those kind of places that were so diverse, and now you kind of think, oh, what happened?
I feel very honoured to be a part of it. I think this project is one of the ways you can help people to connect.
I've made a toad abode, which is a house for a toad. I've learned a lot about bees. I have been terrified half to death by a massive millipede.
We've got our amazing beehives behind me.
I think the bees are awesome.
I saw bees with a Captain Jack's pirate ship.
I particularly like the bee circus.
It does change the way that people think about their environment and the way that they understand space.
I think it's really important to see the arts not just as a tool with an outcome, but as a way of being in a place as well and expressing a part of the identity of a place, which is just as important as like the scientific values.
We already knew we wanted to work with Wildworks, and their project all centred around the creatures of that landscape and their feelings and their response to that. They did workshops with communities producing outdoor performance work.
Wildworks is a company based in Cornwall, and our remit is to work in non-traditional theatre spaces, making work that is very much about the interface between people and place.
So yesterday we did singing and writing and ended up with a ceremony involving fire at the end of the day. Today we are making, and our creations are going to become part of a ceremony.
It's great to be working with people, being creative, and I don't think many of us know each other.
I don't know anybody, and that's really lovely actually. It's been really nice kind of getting to know different people.
The other artists we worked with was Emily Tracy.
I have been coming down to the Bird Observatory for just over a year, and I've been absorbing what it is they do here.
This data that they've been collecting for 60 years is just incredible stuff in its own right, and Emily's an artist that likes to work with data and represent it in ways that are much more sort of engaging.
Earlier in the summer we set up a whole load of community workshops so that people could help me make the artwork, because without the local community, without that collective effort, I could never have achieved the final outcome.
Her creation involved lots of people gathering in small groups to cut out all the little birds and to make this installation. The two to work with the Brandy Row site were Heinrich and Palmer. They worked with the research that had come out of the community events and activities and produced for the festival an immersive installation.
The research that was undertaken last year really brought the site to life for us. We worked with a local surveying company and they undertook the scan and then gave us the data, and it's that data that we then used to kind of create the animations.
It was just stunning, just absolutely stunning, and just so clever.
It blew me away. It was absolutely fabulous.
The other artists we worked with on that site were a duo called Need.
Through this project we've been trying to identify a need and a thing that it could be for the future.
They spent a lot of time on the island before the festival, getting really interesting conversations.
We've just had a great workshop with the youth council.
And they've just been making an amazing audio piece.
Expect to stand outside Brandy Row and listen to people's thoughts of the future. Sound has always played a big role in Portland.
You know the sound of the wave and what type of sea, whether it's a breaking sea or the big swells with a big drag, the roar of the pebbles. You know, you can just tell from the noise, even if you can't see the sea, how bad it is.
It's just such a unique place to hold a festival.
You can see behind is a properly cool setup. So open air cinema, but it's powered by people and purely by people. So there's no kind of batteries, no generators, no electricity. They've got to be people on the bikes pedaling to make this come to life tonight. So it's going to look great once the sun's gone down.
It's a film that I haven't seen for a long time. It was bizarre, weird, and the music was great.
Being on the bikes, you actually feel part of the film.
The idea of the project is to try and address some of the issues with electrical waste. There's lots of copper, there's gold, there's iron, there's aluminium.
We're having a wonderful time smashing stuff up and picking bits out, and it's just awesome, we love it.
It promotes conversation and allows people to work with hand tools, which I'm really interested in.
Makes you think about what we throw away and how it can be used for better things.
There's so many interesting stories that have come out. The lace making was one of the things that I found really interesting.
There was something for everybody in the war.
It's like an old bubblegum machine, and you get a replica of an item that was salvaged from a ship called the Abergavenny.
Really excitingly, I have got this amazing bus. I'm an artist, I do a lot of collage. Collage is a really good process for responding to your environment. Where you position yourself often sort of unconsciously impacts the work that people create.
It's got such value to the community. It's embedded in the community, it's part of the community, it's for the community, it's by the community.
In some ways it's opened up stories and it's opened up parts of the island that they wouldn't otherwise have been able to crack into.
This, as we are told, is the last piece of landscape that is untouched. We have participants that are actually performing.
It just made me think that we have to have areas of land that everyone can use that are not being used for other purposes or for profit.
Just beautiful about like grounding ourselves in nature, and yeah, it was just beautiful.
I love B-side, quite frankly.
It feels like something's going on. It feels like something's going on. Put on a smile.